Okay, so everyone who is joining us, let me know if you all can hear my voice. And we have Arjun today. He's from Mantle, and Mantle. What I know is Mantle is going through a huge. There's a big event coming up for Mantle where all the BitDAO tokens you'll be able to swap it with MNT very soon. So we'll talk all about that. So Tushar is here. Tushar, can you let me know अगर हमारी आवाज आ रही है आपको in the chat box? Okay, so let me just check this. Okay, so in the meantime, so we'll talk about Mantle. Arjun, let's start with the journey of crypto because for everybody, the crypto journey is very fascinating.
Right.
So, in brief, if you could tell us, like, how is your journey been so far in crypto and what led you to Mantle?
Sure, definitely. So for me, the crypto journey started in 2016. That's when I was looking into all sorts of different technology. I was looking into machine learning. I was looking into AI, and I came across the Bitcoin white paper. And immediately I was kind of really struck, or rather, I would say very fascinated by the idea of decentralization. So I kind of realized that. Um, if for example we're able to build decentralized technology, then it could change or improve many things in the world. And that's when I started studying more about it, and sort of got into it. So that's kind of when I started. I think, to be exact, it was May 2016. Full-time crypto started in 2020. So in July 2020 I joined Polygon as head of BD and growth. I was doing that for almost 3 years. So that was another very interesting journey. But this was like my first full-time crypto job. And then post that, last November, I sort of left Polygon and I joined Mantle to lead the ecosystem efforts here at Mantle. Yeah.
Okay, I think there is some audio problem. Let me just check it again. Are you
Okay,
able to hear me?
I can hear you fine. Yeah.
Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. So yeah, so let's talk about for everyone who may not know about Mantle because when I was making my first video on Mantle, I was also got a little bit confused because
Right.
is it BitDAO or is it Mantle or what is it? So
Right.
and then I realized that okay, BitDAO is basically a governance model and Mantle is one of the product under this. So let's talk about what is Mantle. In brief, what is Mantle? Would you say is it a layer two solution?
Yes, yes. So I'll explain Mantle in two ways. So Mantle, as a blockchain, is an Ethereum layer two blockchain. So we've gone live with the OP stack, the optimism stack, and then we've also integrated data availability powered by EigenLayer. So we built a modular blockchain using the OP stack. So this is about us as a technology. As a product, I would say that we've born out of a DAO vote. So the members of BitDAO voted on what they would want the DAO to invest in to build, and the DAO sort of voted for building infrastructure, and that's when sort of the team was put into place. All the funding came from the DAO, so it's a very decentralized project that way. Now, of course, BitDAO is rebranding to Mantle, so it'll be called Mantle Governance. Ultimately, what we're looking to do is essentially have a singular branding across the entire ecosystem. So it would be BitDAO. Instead of having BitDAO, it would be Mantle Governance. It would be the Mantle chain. The token would be MNT token. So the Bit token, which currently represents BitDAO, would be swapped 1:1 for the Mantle token, for the MNT token. And once that sort of swap is done, then there would only be one ecosystem token, which would be the Mantle token, MNT, and then MNT would continue to be used across all of the sort of the DAO projects. So currently, it is used in the Mantle blockchain for sort of for as the ecosystem token. It's used for gas fees. It will be used for infrastructure staking, things like this. It is also used for governance on the DAO. And then it will also be used for in the liquid staking derivatives product, and all the other products which we might develop in the future. So MNT will be used in all of those. And so that's kind of, so it'll be like an ecosystem token versus let's say purely a governance token like how Bit was. So yeah,
Got it.
the
Got it.
context.
So there's more utility to MNT than just.
100%.
And I think one of the questions that everyone would have is, are there going to be any changes in the tokenomics? Like, is there going to be inflation? Like, is the supply same of the tokens or is it going to be different?
So the supply actually has been reduced. So as such, so here I wanted to talk about two things, right? So one is that the MNT token is a 1:1 mapping to the bit token. So if you have bit token, you can swap it for MNT. So it's 1:1. So no changes in supply, nothing like that. Why I say the supply is reduced is because we passed another governance proposal, right? So we put up a proposal for governance where about 3 billion tokens of bit which are there in the DAO would not be converted to MNT, right? And
Mm.
thereby would be removed from the supply. So actually, the supply is reduced by almost 3 billion tokens, and there will be no inflation in the supply. It'll be a fixed supply token. However, governance can, the sort of the folks participating in governance can choose to increase the supply. I think there is a supply cap of maybe 1 or 2% every year if the need be. So suppose sometime in the future we realize that, oh, I think we should have maybe more supply for running the chain, or it could be that we've launched now 6 or 7 different products using MNT. So we realize, okay, you know what, we should have more supply of the token for broader governance, and generally being able to create more products. Then we could do that via a governance vote. But now it will require governance to inflate the supply. It cannot just be done as a feature of token economics.
Got it. And what was the reason of like locking those 3 billion and not letting that swap with MNT?
So I think one of the biggest reasons was that so I think the question can be best answered by first figuring out where those 3 billion tokens came from. So if you look at the genesis of Bit token in general, that Bit token was held by the DAO. There was a public sale and all of that, and then the Bit token was also used by Bybit, the exchange, right? And the Bybit was over a monthly basis sending Bit tokens to BitDAO. So what we eventually did is Bybit essentially, instead of sending it monthly, took the entire supply of Bit which they were supposed to send to the DAO and sent it in one go, right? So this is where the 3 billion tokens came from. They actually came from Bybit, right? And the idea was that, if you're building a piece of infrastructure, then it should be completely controlled by the DAO. Like, it should not be controlled by an exchange or by any other third party.
Got it.
Right? It should be like a completely decentralized autonomous entity, just like how the word DAO basically represents. So this is kind of why what Bybit did is took their entire token supply, which they were supposed to give to the DAO in a monthly basis. They just gave it away in one chunk. So what happened
Mm.
is that BitDAO suddenly had 6 billion bit tokens, right? And there was no real good reason to have such a huge part of the supply in the DAO. And this also meant that almost 70% of the tokens out there, 75% in fact of the tokens out there, were held by the DAO, which I don't think which was in some sense counterproductive to DAO governance and essentially the functions of the DAO. The to like, you should not have such a large concentration of tokens in the DAO itself. So which is when we decided that, okay, we'll reduce the supply of the tokens held by the DAO. So this is not by burning. This is just these are
Got it.
tokens held by the DAO. They are locked in the DAO. It will reduce the supply. It will sort of even out some of the governance. And as we continue to give out more and more grants in the MNT token, once we rebrand like Bit to MNT, and then we continue to give out grants, we support projects, we do other incentives, possible future airdrops, and things like this, then it will, over a period of time, decentralize the token, and
Mm.
there will be more and more distribution, and let's say equality of governance in the community. And then later, like I said, governance can decide to increase the supply if they so choose. So yeah.
So everyone who is holding bit tokens will be able to swap it with MNT,
Yes.
starting from 17. Is that the date correct?
Yes, yes.
Or
So starting from 17th July, you will be able to swap it 1:1 for MNT tokens. I think there is a time also, if I'm not wrong, it's 6 p.m. UTC, but just double check on the time.
yeah, yeah.
But you'll be able to swap the tokens out 1:1 for MNT, and then going forward, then it would just be the MNT tokens. So if your tokens are on Bybit, for example, they would be automatically swapped. If they're
Okay.
on chain, then we will provide smart contracts where you can go and swap this token out. And I think the smart contract will be open for a period of about 6 months.
Yeah. So yeah, at least for 6 months. So within 6 months, you have to swap it. If it
Yes.
is on Bybit, it will automatically get swapped.
If it's on an
And
exchange, it will be auto swapped. Yes.
yeah. There are other exchanges also who are supporting the
Yes.
swap.
Yes.
Exactly. Got it. Okay, so let's talk about the mainnet launch. Okay, I had a question from Twitter. I'll ask in the end.
Mm.
But when is the mainnet launch for Mantle?
The mainnet is also being launched on the 17th. So 17th, we're doing multiple
Ah,
things. We're
got
redoing the token. We're launching the mainnet. So a bunch of things are going live
it. Mm.
on the 17th. Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think what's going to be very exciting is the kind of dApps we will see on Mantle. And I was also reading about there'll be some LST products also, which
Yeah.
is quite a narrative these days, and it's very
Mm.
fascinating. Take us through kind of products you are expecting, or maybe teams which are already in pipeline to build on Mantle.
So we've,
Like
as such, reached out to almost 800 odd teams who are interested in building with us. So we've got a pretty big roster. Lots of great DeFi projects, lots of great gaming projects, lots of great NFT projects as well. All the infrastructure pieces are also in place, bridging, meta transactions. Like a bunch of these things should be live very soon. Now, in terms of the dApps, I think the kind of focus which we will have at Mantle, right? So if I were to talk about Mantle as an ecosystem, we've got access to the liquidity reserves of the DAO. We've got, partnership with Bybit, the exchange. So we have the ability to provide liquidity and list tokens at the same time. So essentially, we have the ability to create our own blue chip projects. This is an ability which is impossible to replicate for any other ecosystem out there. So having the ability to build our own blue chips is something which we really want to focus on hard. So what you will see with Mantle is lots of new and exciting teams who want to be sort of the blue chip projects of tomorrow, and then we'll be helping those teams accelerate using the ecosystem levers which we have. So we have a grant program also. We have, like I said, the partnership with the exchange. We will have a 200 million um, ecosystem fund as well, and then there are like several things which we are incorporating into the ecosystem to help new projects bootstrap and become blue chip projects. So expect to see a lot of like new kinds of concepts, whether it's DeFi, whether it's gaming, or whether it's NFT. And having like a strong, let's say, stable of native projects is super important to us. Similarly, we're also talking to several other blue chip projects as well, and expect to see many other announcements in the weeks and days to come.
Hmm. Yeah, so 17th is the date. Let me. So I think I was checking the website, and I think there under the ecosystem you have a few projects
Mhm.
which are mentioned, which will be coming up. So there was an NFT also. What
Yeah.
was the NFT about?
So we did like an inaugural NFT drop. It's called the Citizens of Mantle. The idea with
Yeah.
this NFT is that we wanted to essentially humanize the way people interact with Web3 networks. I think it's very clunky right now and it's not intuitive. So we airdropped everybody. We'll airdrop like this NFT, and this NFT is a dynamic NFT, right? So it'll morph with time. And the idea being that the more you interact with the network and the more activities you do on Mantle, then the NFT will morph accordingly. And then we will also, there'll be a leaderboard as well to track who are, like, let's say, the top citizens of Mantle. And then over a period of time we can give these teams rewards. We can like do other things with folks who are sort of let's say uh, the biggest Mantle fans, as one might say, in the space. So yeah.
Yeah, as we talk, I'm just sharing the
Yeah.
screen with everybody here. It says Citizen of
Yeah.
Mantle.
Right. And if you scroll,
Uh,
you'll see
yeah,
that it's been created by a celebrated NFT artist, Chen Man,
yeah,
who's
yeah.
got some awesome art out there. Yeah.
So who can buy this? Anyone, can I buy this NFT? Or like
You have to be
how?
airdrop this NFT. So
It
you'll have to
has to be
join the
airdrop. I have to register. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So you'll
Okay.
have to join the whitelist. So you can't like buy it
Uh,
for someone or anything like that. Yeah.
got it. Yeah, yeah. And yeah, July is the white verify eligibility. How does like I become whitelisted? Like, are there some tasks that needs to be done? Because the reason I'm asking you because you know I saw the Mantle testnet. So like people are doing like some task or
Mhm.
like bridging
Yeah.
testnet tokens and swapping and whatnot. Like how does it become one eligible for the whitelist?
So I think so. Of course, early adopters of our network who helped us test out the network. Of course, they'll get the airdrop. Then you can register. There was a register button right there. You can register for it as well. But the idea for us is to sort of incentivize for people who are part of the Mantle family, who will sort of been helping our network for a long period of time, will continue to help our network. So that's the real focus of this NFT drop.
Hmm. Okay, so I think I want to take a question from Twitter. This is a question from Neelavok @Neelavok7,
Okay.
and he says that भाई पूछना mental testers, bit holders, delegators के लिए कुछ token airdrop मिलेगा कि नहीं? So I think वो questions यहाँ पे chat
Hmm.
में भी है
Yeah, I think
कि
airdrop
airdrop.
to
So yeah,
बहुत
yeah,
questions आएंगे तो सही है, but that's perfectly legitimate question. So see, the thing is that since we have not done the official announcement yet, I cannot confirm or deny. that we will have incentive programs for our network. But I think we're building a completely fresh network. Like I said, we want to incentivize blue chip dApps. Sorry, we're going to incentivize native dApps, like dApps building natively on Mantle. So they'll be, there will be a lot of value creation through many other different types of airdrops as well, not just the MNT token. So again, without revealing too many more details, I think wait for the official announcement. But if the question is, are we going to incentivize users who've been helping our network? Of course, we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I think I see what you're saying. So once the mantle is live, there'll be so many apps which are building up, and they will have their own
They
tokens,
will have their
perhaps
own, oh, yeah, absolutely,
tokens,
their own
and
token
then that could
incentive. Yes, yes.
exactly, exactly. Yeah. So I think any good NFT and gaming projects to watch. Is this like I was reading that this talk about the speed because I think somewhere I read that this mantle layer two is also built for gaming specifically. Is that true?
I would not
Right.
say that it's gaming specifically. I think it can be used for any, how do you say, any kind of use case. Ultimately, it's a general purpose smart contract layer. So you can build DeFi, NFT gaming, कुछ भी build कर सकते हो. I think why gaming comes up is because of the data availability integration which we have. So because we have integrated data availability, we'll have lower costs and higher performance than other L2 chains out there. So if you want to, for example, build gaming, then you'll be able to really accelerate gaming and build a big gaming ecosystem on Mantle, possibly compared to maybe other layer two chains where we've seen that while a lot of DeFi has moved to a lot of these layer two chains, gaming NFT is yet to take off because costs and performance are simply not there yet.
Hmm.
So we want to be able to solve that.
Great.
Mhm.
And I think I just want to make a small announcement. Description में there is a link. If अगर 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 आपने इसमें से किसी ने register नहीं किया है Bybit पे, you can register, and basically you can win about 200 MNT, which will come to you after 17th, of course. But for now, you can just click on the link and register. And there's a Google form. You can just post your user ID there, and three lucky winners will get 200 MNT tokens. Okay. I think okay. So 17th July is the big day. Uh, where the mainnet launch happens, and
Mhm.
then all the apps will start slowly coming in, or app which people will be able to try. What
Mhm.
do you want to say? Any what do you how do you want to how do you look at that event?
No, so like I said, like we already have like almost close to like 50 to 80 dApps which are going to be going live on day zero, and then that will only accelerate with time. I think it's sort of a testament, or rather the fact that we have such a large ecosystem already, right? So if I were to talk about
Yeah.
blockchains in general, like for blockchains, cold start is a big problem, right from
Hmm.
the start. Because if you're running a blockchain, आपको इतनी सारी चीजें करनी है ना, आपको टोकन निकालना है, आपको लिस्टिंग करानी है, आपको इकोसिस्टम बनाना है, like आपको बहुत सारी चीजें एक बार में करनी है, बहुत मुश्किल है, right? And we've seen with many launches that has been a big challenge. हमारे केस में क्या है, टोकन is listed on all major exchanges ऑलरेडी, राइट? कम्युनिटी ऑलरेडी बड़ी है, बिटडाओ की कम्युनिटी बड़ी है, बायबिट की कम्युनिटी बड़ी है, उसके अलावा बिटडाओ के जो इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं, गेम सेवन, ये सबकी कम्युनिटी बड़ी है, उसके अलावा और भी हमारे पास इकोसिस्टम पार्टनर्स हैं लाइक ईहा गेम्स, एपेक्स डेक्स, इन सब की भी कम्युनिटी बड़ी है, तो अपने पास ऑलरेडी बहुत बड़ी कम्युनिटी है, right? Which is again not there for most other chains when they launch, right? So
Yeah.
having these problems solved, I mean ecosystem problems aside, कि हमारे पास liquidity और exchange है तो हम list कर सकते हैं और सारी चीजें कर सकते हैं जो और कोई नहीं कर सकता. Apart from that, fact is कि हमारे पास day zero पे बहुत बड़ी community है जो किसी के
Yeah.
पास नहीं है, और टोकन का लिस्टिंग, ये एक्सचेंज, ये सब सॉल्व हो चुका है. तो
Hmm.
इसलिए like for us, like getting off the ground is like a lot easier.
Yeah.
And I think it will only accelerate with time. Like with time हम और भी बड़ा इसको कर सकते हैं क्योंकि ये सारी चीजें सॉल्व है, तो ये सब पे मेरे मुझे बहुत ज्यादा फोकस करने की जरूरत नहीं है. तो फोकस हैज टू बी ऑन इकोसिस्टम बिल्डिंग, गेटिंग डैप्स, बिल्डर्स, एक्साइटिंग नए कॉन्सेप्ट्स लेके आओ. ऐसा होना चाहिए कि आपकी चेन पे सबसे बढ़िया लाइक जो भी प्रोजेक्ट्स बन रहे हैं, सबसे इनोवेटिव टाइप्स, वो सारे आपकी चेन में बने. सो ये सब प्रॉब्लम्स मैं चाह रहा हूँ कि सॉल्व करूँ मैं, वर्सेस हैविंग
Hmm.
टू सॉल्व these other problems जो हमारे लिए ऑलरेडी सॉल्व है.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree because community building the community and like bringing the user base is one of the bigger problem for any software.
100%.
Over here, over here we already have the community. We already have the users waiting for the
हाँ,
products to come, and then I can start using it.
right.
Yeah, great. I think I want to wrap this up here. I want to close this here. So I don't see any more question. Any closing thought, Arjun? It was nice talking to you, and hopefully we'll do it again sometime in future.
No, 100%. I think, in the end, I'd just like to say that, I mean, for us, it's a very exciting event. Our testnet has been live for almost 6 months, so a lot has gone um, into where we are today as a network. And I just hope that the community participates in the governance, be a part of our forums, follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram groups, help support our network, so that we can build like the biggest and the most impactful sort of community in Web3. And like I said, a huge focus on native projects. So I hope that people use our chain, and help these builders explore these concepts, where it'll be equal parts fun, but you'll also be able to sort of create more value for yourself. So I think all things considered, like I think we have a very exciting package for builders and for users. And I just hope people try it out, give us more feedback, so that we can continue to improve it with time.
Perfect. Well, I'm absolutely looking forward to. 2 ही दिन बाकी है. Today is 15th. 2 या 3 दिन में बाकी है. So mainnet launch हो रहा है. I'm looking forward to. Thank you so much for doing this, Arjun, and talk to you soon.
Talk to you soon as well. All right, take
Take
care.
care.
Take care, guys. Bye bye.